Hi, this is the Cat's Library. I'll be your librarian today. While there were a few different options for bee animals, I went with the bat because I couldn't find any stories for the other ones. Also, one of my real-life names sounds similar to bat, so I have a slight affinity for them. Now, for this series, I wanted to prioritize animals that I never drawn before, and I have drawn bats before. But I don't think I've ever drawn the full animal from a reference. Mostly because I use them for the wings when I'm drawing dragons. So I figured that I could still use them for this video. Engage! I was looking through the public domain bat images and I came across this one and decided to draw it. This was supposed to be a big-eared bat. I might have chosen an image with a more complex lighting again, since the picture of the bat appears to have been taken in the dark with the flash on. That's why he looks so surprised. With my other more cartoony videos, I can jump around to a lot of different mini drawings and complete each of the drawings pretty fast. The downside to that is that a lot of those end up looking a little underdone, since I didn't spend as much time on them. With these videos, I really have to focus on the singular object of the image, and I get sick of what I'm looking at quicker somehow. It might be that half an hour drawing a cartoon can show progress, while an hour on a more realistic drawing devolves into messing with the layer opacity with next to no tangible improvement. Maybe I put more pressure on myself to get these animals perfect since I'm going for realism for the first time in a while. I don't think I've drawn anything as realistic as the armadillo in the last episode in this series, though. Maybe I do know what I'm doing. I just don't know that I know what I'm doing. Compared to the armadillo, bats have less differing textures. There is a furry texture for the body and a skin texture for the wings, tail, and ears. There is also a bony texture for the fingers, but that's for later in the process. There is a subtle distortion to the wings. It's not just flat, which is mildly difficult to shade in a way that makes sense. There are also a bunch of veins, I guess, on the wings. I'm not sure, but I had trouble making them visible yet not distracting to the image. Right out of the gate, I wanted to get to coloring, and thus the silhouette and proportions were a bit off. I was also insecure about the colors up to the end of the process. It's more difficult to choose colors for realism since the shading will change what everything looks like in relation to each other. For the next video in the series, I'm thinking about trying getting the shading done in grayscale first, and then putting the colors on top of it, even though I've only ever tried that technique a couple of times with middling success. Also, I might have a mild addiction to colors, and so sketch, color, and shade with them, which sometimes makes my value levels to have too much or too little contrast. Either that I'm just noticing my values more now. It's why I regularly set my image to grayscale. I should also be flipping the image about as often, but I deign to follow the reference instead in this case. I even overlaid the photo over my image to try to get the placement right, so I'm confident that nothing is terribly out of place. Now I think that that's enough for talking about the drawing itself. Let's move on to the stories. The stories about bats that I found were two Aesop's fables with a similar premise. These are very short. One of these was used as a backstory in a book, and a season-long TV show, called Silverwing. First fable. There was a war between the beasts and the birds. It doesn't really matter why it started. When the birds were winning, the bats fought alongside the birds. And when the beasts were winning, they fought alongside the beasts. When the war was over, the bats were charged for their crimes, and never allowed to see daylight again. Second fable. One day, a weasel caught a bat. "Hello, bird, my favorite dish. I'm going to eat you now." "Wait, I'm not a bird, I'm a mouse." "A mouse? I hate mice." And so the weasel let her go. Sometime later, another weasel caught the bat. "Hello, mouse, my favorite dish. I'm going to eat you now." "Wait, I'm not a mouse, I'm a bird." "A bird? I hate birds." And so the weasel let her go. Analysis of fables. In both of these, it seems that people had trouble classifying what a bat is, since they have fur like a mouse and fly like a bird. This might also be where the silly symphony The Flying Mouse got its inspiration. However, with the first story, it is a bad thing to avoid definition, and the latter, it is a good thing. This might tie into the general moral rule that lying in a legal means is bad just so long as an innocent life isn't in danger. If you saw my Snow White Part 2 video from earlier this week, you may have seen that I'm going to try to do at least 2 alphabetical animals before next Tuesday as a challenge to myself. I'm not sure I'll get 3 done, but we shall see. I'm not sure that people actually read the outro, so I'm going to try to get the habit of recording them out loud, even though most people tap out before the video is completely over as a statistic. So I'm thinking that the people who do stay until the end might want to hear some more of my beautiful voice or something. Maybe consider giving the video a like, subscribe to the channel. If you want notifications, click the bell. Watch more of my videos. You have the capacity to tell your mom, friend, or that random guy on the subway to watch my videos. You also have the capacity not to do that, which is the nature of free will. Things to think about. Goodbye.